Right back here now at Briggs Stadium in Detroit. And we're ready for the top half of the fourth inning. And in this first half of the fourth, the first batter for Chicago will be Peanuts Lowry. Harry got himself a base hit in the first inning. As a matter of fact, he has gotten the only hit given up so far by Frank Overmeyer. That was a single hit into left field. Peanuts steps up to the plate now, takes his usual batting stance, very deep at the plate, hits right-handed. Overmeyer, just about the same size and height, makes the first pitch. And Lowry takes it up to the peak of the cap for ball one. 1 ball, no strikes. This is the first half of the fourth inning. Detroit nothing and Chicago nothing. Overmeyer throws a medium-speed curve that bites into the dirt in front of the plate. Bob Swift came up with it very nicely. Brissett makes the count on Lowry. 2 balls, no strikes. Lowry waits once more. Here comes Overmeyer's delivery. It's a fastball. It's good for a strike. Overmeyer just reared back and poured his fast one through there. This guy Lowry only stands 5 feet 8.5, weighs 155 pounds, so he doesn't give you the impression of being a very big fella. He plays a good brand of baseball. Overmeyer delivers him. It's a high fast one for ball 3. 3-1. That's the count on Peanuts Lowry. Overmeyer stands only 5'7", so we have a couple of little fellas working against each other right now. Overmeyer delivers 3-1. The plate, it's swung on by Lowry. There's a long fly ball deep into left field. Hank Greenberg goes back, and it's up against the screen in left field. Lowry is on his way to second. Greenberg picks up, throws into Outlaw at third, and it's a double for Peanuts Lowry to open the fourth inning. He hit it off the screen in left field. That is hit number 2 off Stubby Overmeyer. Greenberg was over there to play that ball all right. He had it figured correctly, but it was up over his head up against the screen. 340 feet away from home plate. That was in fair territory, about 15 yards. The batter now is Phil Cavaretta. Overmeyer delivers him, and Cavaretta pushes a bunt back toward the mound. Overmeyer's play goes back to first base to Rudy York, and the sacrifice works as Lowry comes over to take his station at third. So Cavaretta, despite the fact that he was the National League's #1 hitter this year, is ordered to sacrifice by Charlie Grimm, and he does. That gets Lowry down there in scoring position. He can be gotten in if Pafko gets a fly ball out there. Pafko's the batter now, and he's 0 for 1 for his work this afternoon. The right-hand hitter gets ready. Overmeyer delivers him, and there's a high curve. Ball 1. The Detroit infield is playing in almost on the grass. They're hoping, of course, to have the opportunity of cutting the run off at the plate if it presents itself. Overmeyer throws. There's a fast curve that's very tight up against the hitter. Pafko takes ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Peanuts Lowry leading off at third. 1 away in the top of the fourth inning. Chicago's threatening. Overmeyer delivers. There's a fast curve just off the belt buckle on the inside. That's ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes. Pafko flailing that bat around. Lowry comes off third base now as Overmeyer delivers. There's a low, fast curve under the knees for ball 4. So Pafko is put on. That's the second base on balls given up by Overmeyer. He was pitching very carefully to Pafko. He didn't mind too much if he did walk him because, after all, there's 1 out here in the top of the fourth inning. And with a man at first base, it sets up an opportunity for the Detroit infield. Now Nicholson at the plate. Swings on the first pitch and misses for strike 1. Bill hitting left-handed. Nicholson came up in the second inning and was thrown out by Eddie Mayo, the Detroit second baseman. In the fourth, with the Cubs threatening, Lowry is on at third and Pafko is on at first. Second is open. 1 away, no score. Nicholson waits. Overmeyer delivers, and there's a medium-speed curveball that's on the inside. That levels the count off on Nicholson at 1 ball and 1 strike. As we observed once before, the outfield is playing more or less straight away to Nicholson. Bill with his almost straightaway stance. That's from a very severe crouch. Overmeyer sets, delivers, Nicholson swings, and there's a ball hit out back of shortstop out into short left field, and it drops in for a base hit. In comes the runner from third to score. That's Lowry, and it's 1-0 in favor of the Chicago Cubs. Nicholson bloops one out into short left field. Skeeter Webb tried to run that down, but he couldn't quite get to it. And as far as Nicholson is concerned, that is the 5th run batted in he's had here in this 1945 World Series. Lowry comes in to score from third with the first run of the game, and Andy Pafko on the play, of course, moved over to second and held on. That was hit number 3 off Overmeyer and run number 1. The batter at the plate now is Mickey Livingston, the right-hand hitting catcher, and he swings on the first pitch, and there's a high foul ball up and back. Bob Swift comes over near the stands, and he can't get it. He's back about 4 rows. So the count on Livingston is no balls, 1 strike. It's a 1-0 ball game in favor of the Chicago Cubs. There's only 1 out. Now they have runners at first and second. Pafko is at second. Nicholson with his single is on at first. The right-hand hitter to plate is Livingston with the count of no balls, 1 strike. Overmeyer delivers. There's a ball hit out into center field. Roger Kramer comes over under it, waits, and takes it for the out. Fires it in quickly, and the runners hold on. Well, that's the second out for Chicago here in inning number 4. The batter is Roy Hughes. The Chicago shortstop came up once in this game today. That was in the second inning, and he was thrown out by shortstop Skeeter Webb of Detroit. So Hughes so far in this series has gone no hits for 7 tries. The Chicago runners now take their leads. Pafko at second and Nicholson at first. Overmeyer delivers to the plate, and Hughes takes a tight curve right off his chest for ball 1. Overmeyer still wading around in hot water. Stretches, checks his runners, delivers to the plate. Hughes takes a curveball that bends outside for ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Bob Swift signs for this pitch. Overmeyer nods. He'll throw it. Here it comes. It's swung on. There's a long foul ball down the right field line and back over near the seats. Well, that's a strike. One of the spectators tried to field that ball as it hopped up against a low railing out behind right field. He fell right out onto the field. Well, the count on the hitter at the plate, let's not get away from him, is Hughes, and his count is 2 balls, 1 strike. Runners at first and second. There are 2 outs in the top of the 4th. Overmeyer tries a curve that's just under the knees of Hughes for ball 3. 3-1 now on this right-handed hitter. Overmeyer checks once more, sights, serves, and there's a ball hit out into right field, and it drops in for a base hit. In comes Andy Pafko with the second Chicago run. Well, it's a base hit to right field. A little looping fly ball that dropped in for a single, and Pafko, very fleet of foot, moved around third, and Charlie Grimm says, "Go ahead, boy, I'll see you at the plate." That's just exactly where Pafko wound up. So that is hit number 4 off Overmeyer, and run number 2. And on the play, Nicholson moved down to second and held on. The batter coming up to the plate, and I imagine feeling much better about the entire situation, is the pitcher, Claude Passeau. Claude came up in the 3rd inning and struck out. We have the same situation here in the 4th. 2 outs, runners at first and second, 3rd open, and Passeau waiting. Overmeyer throws, and Passeau takes a high, fast one for ball 1. Score is 2-0 in favor of the Chicago Cubs. And we're at the top of the 4th inning. 2 down and 2 on. Overmeyer throws a fastball. It's swung on and missed by Passeau for strike 1. One and 1 is the count on Passeau. Overmeyer delivers. Passeau takes an inside curve just off his hips. That's ball 2. 2-1. And it's getting a little grayer now and a little more hazy here at Briggs Stadium in Detroit. Ever-present threat of rain. This ball game is going right along. The 2-1 delivery by Overmeyer is swung on by Passeau and missed for strike 2. And Claude was really after it. That makes the count on the Chicago pitcher, Passeau, 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 on, 2 out, in the top of the fourth inning. And the score 2-0 Chicago. Overmeyer throws a fastball, swung on and missed for strike 3. So that gets the Tigers out of this in the fourth inning. That's the second strikeout for Overmeyer. And here in the fourth inning, 2 runs for Chicago on a total of 1, 2, 3 hits. There were 2 men left on, and there were no errors. So at the end of 3 1/2 innings of play, the score stands Chicago 2 and Detroit nothing. When the Athletics, trailing 8-0, batted out 10 hits and made 10 runs against the Cubs in the 7th inning of the 1929 series to win 10-8, they made an all-time record in no time. Now, fellas, that's the way Gillette Brushless turns it on against tough beer. 1, Gillette Brushless removes moisture-resisting oil from your whiskers pronto. 2, Gillette Brushless holds a barrel of water against your face, keeping your beard soaked and softened all the time you're shaving. Gillette Brushless is superior in other ways, too. It's greaseless, rinses instantly, and can't clog your razor or wash bowl drain. Also, it lubricates your razor blade and protects your skin and leaves a swell aftershave feeling. For extra shaving speed and comfort, ask your dealer for Gillette Brushless. If he's out of stock today because of wartime shortages, he'll have Gillette Brushless soon. Now the last half of the fourth inning. It's a 2-0 ball game in favor of the Chicago Cubs, and the Detroit Tigers will be sending Mayo, Kramer, and Greenberg to bat here in the last half of the fourth in that order. Mayo's coming up for his second time, and he's 0 for 1 this afternoon. He was thrown out by third baseman Stan Hack back in the first inning. The left-handed hitter once more standing deep at the plate. Passeau throws a medium-speed curveball that's high and on the outside for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. This is the last half of inning number 4. Passeau works back to the plate. Mayo takes a fast-called strike, zipped in just above his knees on the inside corner. Passeau checks his sign once more, then delivers to the plate, and it's a low curve that bounces into the dirt just in front of the plate. Ball 2. 2-1 is the count on Eddie Mayo. Eddie moves that War Club back and forth. Passeau pitches, and it's swung on. There's a ball hit to the right of field. Cavaretta, he dives out, makes the pickup, and from his position on his side, throws to first to Passeau covering. And Mayo is out. There's a fielding play for you. And Cavaretta actually dove out to his right and bounced on his side as he made that stop. And from that position on the diamond, he threw to first base to Claude Passeau covering for the out. Well, that's 1 out for Detroit here in the last half of the fourth inning. The batter now is Doc Kramer. He sent a fly ball to center field in the first inning that Andy Pafko took care of. Now the left-hand hitter opens his stance a little bit more toward first. Passeau juggling that ball around in his mitt. Now takes it. Delivers to the plate. There's a ball hit out into left field. Lowry's going back, and right on the skin surface of the infield. Turns and makes the catch. And Kramer's out. So that's the second out here in the last half of the fourth inning. The Chicago Cubs are leading the Detroit Tigers 2-0. And hope springs eternal in the breasts of the Detroit fans as Captain Hank Greenberg comes up to the plate. Greenberg struck out in the second inning. Big right-hand hitter standing just off the plate. Holds that bat way down with the knob. Passeau won't be taking too many chances with Hank, I don't imagine. He throws a fast curve that zips in and over for a called strike. Greenberg watched that one, cut the plate just above his knees on the inside corner. Hank takes the next pitch, and there's a high curve just off the point of his chin. That levels the count out to Hank at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Last half of the fourth inning, 2 outs, nobody on. The Cubs leading Detroit 2-0. Passeau easily goes into pitching position. Throws a fast one in there that's swung on by Greenberg. There's a high foul ball up back of left field. The shortstop Hughes comes over and tries to get under it. His feet almost go out from under him, and he can't make the catch. The ball drops behind him. That was a high foul ball. about 15 yards in foul territory out behind left field. And Hughes made a long run for it, but overran the ball. And then when he tried to stop and sprag himself down, his feet almost shot out from under him, and he couldn't get himself back to make the catch. So that's just a long strike to Greenberg. No balls, 2 strikes is the count on Hank now. Passo is ready. Takes his sign from Livingston. That outfield is really playing deep to Greenberg. Passo delivers. Hank takes, and it's high for ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Passo kicking a little dirt with his spikes down there at the mound, getting it all smoothed out. Passo has not only had trouble with his right arm, his elbow, but he's also had some trouble with his feet. He has to have specially constructed shoes. He delivers now, and Greenberg swings. There's a fly ball going into left field. Lowry comes up to it easily and takes it easily for the out. Well, that's all for Greenberg. And that's all for the Tigers here in the last half of the 4th inning. No runs, no hits, nobody left, and there are no errors. So at the end of 4 full innings of play, it is 2 runs on 4 hits for Chicago, and they've committed no errors. And for the Detroit Tigers, no runs, but 1 hit off Claude Passo. He's been pretty tough in 4 innings, and there are no errors chalked up against Detroit. Well, tonight and every Friday night is Fight Night on the air. If you have rosin in your veins, and what man hasn't, tune in Gillette's Cavalcade of Sports. Enjoy the major boxing event of the week, blow by blow. Consult your daily newspaper for time and station. Just before the game started today, Commissioner Happy Chandler invited several wounded vets to sit in his box along with Mayor Kelly, Mayor Haig, and Staff Sergeant Vince Garrity, the ex-Cub bat boy. And they're down there now having themselves a whale of a time. Well, let's see now. We're going into the top half of inning number 5 here at Briggs Stadium. The first man up is Stanley Hack, and Overmeyer is about ready to pitch him the first ball. Down it comes, and it's a fast curve that slides off outside for ball 1. Overmeyer 2 runs behind as Chicago leads 2-0. Delivers, Hack swings, and there's a foul ball laced back of third up into the 3rd tier. Now the count on Hack now is 1 ball, 1 strike. Old Errolus Stanislavski, they call him. He's quite a guy. Overmeyer gets ready, delivers him, and Hack hits a foul ball outside of third base, and Charlie Grimm fields it, picks it up, hands it over to Outlaw, the Detroit third baseman. Overmeyer gets ready with this 1-2 delivery, makes it. Hack swings on it, and there's a lofty fly ball going out into left center field. Doc Kramer comes in, calls for it. Greenberg allows him to take it, and he's got it for the out. Well, that's all for Hack. Either Greenberg or Kramer could have made that catch. Kramer kept calling for it, and Greenberg kept yelling Kramer's name. You could hear it clear up here. And Kramer came on through and made the catch. Now here's Don Johnson, second baseman. He swings on the first pitch offered him, and there's another fly ball to center field, and again Doc Kramer's under it, and very easily takes this one for the out. Now that's the second out here in the top half of inning number 5. The batter is Peanuts Lowry. Well, Harry's been up there twice this afternoon, and they haven't been able to get the young fella out of there. In the first inning, it was a single into left field, and in the 4th inning, he hit one over Greenberg's head up against a screen in left field for a double. Overmeyer fires away at the plate. Lowry takes a curve high and outside for ball 1. Two outs, top of the 5th inning. Cubs at bat, and they lead 2-0. Overmeyer serves it up, and Lowry takes it under his knees low. That's ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Lowry moving around in batter's box. Takes the next pitch, and it costs him. It's right in there for a strike. Overmeyer changed up on him and fed him a change of pace curve. Lowry leans over, holds that bat high behind his right ear. Overmeyer delivers a fast curve, swung on and missed. For strike 2. Overmeyer's curveball was on the inside corner that time, just off the fingers. The count now on Lowry is 2 balls, 2 strikes. Overmeyer delivers. Lowry swings on one. There's a little looping fly ball going back of shortstop. Webb goes back on the grass and snags it for the out. And that's all for Lowry. And that's all for the Cubs here in the fifth inning. And it's nothing across. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. At the end of 4.5 innings of play, the score stands Chicago 2 and the Detroit Tigers nothing. When the Yankees defeated the Giants 18-4 in 1936, they ran up the biggest score in series history. That, of course, was something. But weren't you in on this? Then the world-famous easy-shaving Gillette Tech Razor is coming back again on dealers' counters all over the country. Your dealer may have one today or tomorrow or next week. So keep an eye peeled for the Gillette Tech Razor you and plenty of other fellows in town have been waiting for. It's on the way with all-metal gold-plated head plus 5 super keen Gillette blue blades at the popular pre-war price of only 49 cents. What shaves you get, how quick and how easy and how smooth and refreshing. Yes, happy shaves are here again. Ask your dealer for your Gillette Tech Razor with 5 perfect shaving Gillette blue blades at 49 cents. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the last portion of the number 3 game in this 1945 World Series is a fellow I'm very happy to call a very good friend of mine, Lieutenant Colonel Bill Slater, who will do the last portion of the ball game that's about to pick up in the last half of the fifth. Bill?
Thank you, Al Helper. Let's just settle for Mister, huh? Although it costs more. All right, Cullenbine, the right fielder of the Tigers, comes up there. Big fella who's a switch hitter and bats left-handed against right-handed pitching. This fella Cullenbine has been up 6 times in the series so far, and he hasn't had a hit yet. He's been walked twice, and he's hit hungry. Claude Passeau delivers to him. Cullenbine swings on it. There's a foul coming up to the left, and I think it's going over into the stands. It is. So that's a strike on Roy Cullenbine. Claude Passeau rubbing the ball up out there. He's one of the few pitchers that's allowed to rub it up with his gloved hand. That's because he has 3 crooked fingers on his left hand. Came from a gunshot accident a long time ago when he was a kid, about 16 years old. Well, Passeau has had to overcome a lot of things. Gets ready to pitch to Cullenbine. Roy takes it low. Ball 1. Cullenbine's a pretty good-sized fella. Stands 6 feet, weighs between 190 and 200 pounds. So there's a lot of Cullenbine. Passeau delivers. Cullenbine swings on it, hits it on the ground down to first. Cavaretta has it. There's the race to the bag, and Cavaretta wins. Cullenbine is out. 1 out for Detroit now in the last half of the fifth. Chicago leads 2-0. Claude Passeau up to this point has given up only 1 hit. The batter is the fellow who got that 1 hit. That's Rudy York. Came back in the second inning, sliced out a single to left center field. That was Big Rudy's second hit of the series. York crowds the plate just a trifle. Passeau delivers to him. It's good. A fast called strike on the inside corner. 1 strike on York. This big guy York is of German, Irish, Indian descent. He's a sort of a walking League of Nations. Pitch to him is good. Another curveball that came sweeping over there with tremendous zip just above the knees. 2 strikes now on York. Big Claude Passeau kicks the dirt around out on the mound a trifle. He's got sharply chiseled chin, very stern jaw. The pitch to York is swung on. A high foul comes up and back into the stands. 2 strikes on York. Yeah, Billy Corum almost caught that one, but he missed it. He caught one yesterday. Been giving us that Boonville, Missouri baseball training of his ever since. 2 strikes is the count on York. 1 out. Nobody on. Last of the fifth. Chicago leads 2-0. Passeau is ready now. Here it comes. York swings on it, hits it on the ground, down to shortstop. Roy Hughes has it. The throw over to Cavaretta is in time by 4 strides. York is out. Shortstop to first. 2 away for Detroit now in the last of the fifth, and up comes Jimmy Outlaw. Jimmy bats right-handed. He's had 2 hits out of 9 times up in the series. He's a plainsman from Auburn, down in the state of Alabama. Got a 4-year-old son, Perry, who was here at the series, incidentally, watching Papa play. Now, little Jimmy is ready. Takes one low. Low and inside for ball 1. It's drizzling just a trifle. Not very much, sort of a misty wetness. And a very misty day with a blue haze settling over everything here in Detroit. Here's the pitch to Outlaw. He takes it outside, ball 2. 2-0 now on Jimmy. 2 out, nobody on. Home half of the 5th. Pesso bouncing the ball up and down in his glove. Is ready. Here it comes. Outlaw takes it. It was good. Fast call, strike above the knees on the inside corner. And Art Passarello, the plate umpire, shoots that right hand of his up in the air as fast as anybody I've ever seen. Jerks it right back down again as if it were on a spring. He's a decisive Army MP type. That's what he was. Pitched Outlaw, swung on. There's a ball hit right in the air down to Roy Hughes at shortstop for the out. So Outlaw is out on a line drive to the shortstop, and that's all for Detroit in the last half of the 5th inning. Nothing across for the Tigers, and the Cubs lead by a score of 2-0. Well, you know, just as you at home are listening to this game play-by-play, our soldiers and sailors and Marines overseas are sitting at radio sets listening to it by way of the far-flung network of the Armed Forces Radio Service. This program is being shortwaved at this moment from San Francisco and New York by 13 powerful networks. It's being picked up and rebroadcast by many stations of the Far Eastern Network in the Philippines, Okinawa, Japan, and China. The Pacific Ocean Network in Iwo is in on it, too, and in the Marianas, the Gilbert and the Marshall Islands. The Mosquito Network in the South Pacific and to the Armed Forces in the Aleutians, Alaska, and the Caribbean area. Through the Armed Forces radio stations in the Mediterranean and Italy and the Persian Gulf Command, and on through the American Forces Network to troops in the United Kingdom, France, Germany, and Austria, and to our outposts in Greenland and Iceland. There's also a special shortwave relay from Honolulu to Saipan, thence on to Japan by medium wave. Men with shortwave receivers can listen directly to the best of several transmissions. All over the world, this broadcast is going to our men, and of course we're very happy that it is. Now we move into the top of the 6th inning, and the first batter for Chicago will be Phil Cavaretta, their star first baseman, who has been defensively magnificent today. Here's the pitch to Cavaretta, who hits left-handed. He hits it down to Rudy York. Rudy scoops it up, waves everybody away, steps on first, and one first baseman retires another. That was a hard-hit ball, and Rudy came up with it. Scooped it out of the dirt, raced over to first, and beat Cavaretta. So Cavaretta is out. 1 out in the top of the 6th. Frank Overmeyer rubs up to the ball, gets ready to pitch now to Andy Pafko. Pafko was very hot the first day, but he hasn't hit since then. That's right-handed. Takes a pitch that's pretty close to his hip on the inside for ball 1. This Pafko comes from Wisconsin farm folks. They live up in Boyceville, Wisconsin. He's of Slovakian descent. His parents came from near Prague. Here's the pitch to him. He swings on it. There's a slow roller down toward third, going foul. That's a strike on Andy. 1 ball, 1 strike. We call him Andy. Charlie Grimm, as I mentioned yesterday, calls him Trishka. So Trishka gets back to bat there. Overmeyer left hands his delivery in. Slow into the dirt. Ball 2. Overmeyer, short, stocky, square-shouldered, delivers again. Pafko swings on it, hits it hard down to Jimmy Outlaw at third. Jimmy has it. The throw over to York is in time. Pafko is out, third to first. That's 2 out for Chicago now in the top of the 6th. The next batter is Bad Bill Nicholson. Big, pugnacious-looking fellow standing up there batting left-handed. He's driven in 5 runs in this series, as Al told you. Overmeyer delivers. It's low. Outside, ball 1. It was predicted that Nicholson might come to life in the series. Hasn't had a good season, but he's hot in the series. Fouls one off now. Taking a tremendous swing, he almost fell down after he fouled it. 1 ball, 1 strike on Big Bad Bill Nicholson from Maryland. When he was a kid, he wanted to go to the Naval Academy at Annapolis, and color blindness kept him out. So he's a ball player instead of a Navy officer. As a ball player, he watches one that's just above his shoulders for ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. Two and 1 on Nicholson. 2 out, nobody on, top of the 6th. Frank Overmeyer delivers. Nicholson swings and misses. That was a clean miss. Here it comes. Nicholson swings on it, hits it down to York at first. Rudy has it, waves Overmeyer away, steps on first, and that's all for Nicholson, all for Chicago in the top of the sixth inning. Nothing across for the Cubs. And as we head for the last half of the sixth inning, the score is Chicago 2, Detroit nothing. Many of you fans remember how the Cards turned it on in 1934 to beat these Tigers 11-0 in the highest scoring shutout of series history. What a game it was. And 4-3 the games. What a series. But bend an ear to the breeze, please. 4-1 is the score when you're talking about Gillette shaving cream. Now get this right. Gillette shaving cream produces up to 4 times as much lather as other brands priced the same. Now, if you figured as I do, well, that's the difference between 25 cents and $1. Yes, fans, and what a fast-acting, thoroughgoing beard softener Gillette lather really is. It holds a barrel of water as a sponge does and releases it freely, soaking and softening whiskers in jig time for quicker, easier shaving. You get cleaner, smoother, longer-lasting shaves. Yes, your face looks better, and it feels better when you use Gillette Lather Shaving Cream. It costs just $0.25. Now the big raw-boned fellow from Mississippi, Claude Passeau, is out there on the mound, getting ready to start the last half of the sixth inning. And the first batter he'll pitch to will be big Bob Swift from Kansas. And Passeau is big, make no mistake about that. He stands 6'3", weighs 192 or 3 pounds. He's the big, raw-boned type. Bob Swift, second time up, popped up in front of the plate to the catcher his first appearance. He bats right-handed, and he's a Husky, too. Passeau pitches a little too high. Ball 1 on Swift. This guy Swift is known as the best waffle maker of any Major League ball player. Says he learned it down in Salina, Kansas, when he used to be a short order cook. Swift ignores that one. It's down low for ball 2. Now Passeau taking a little bit of time. He's 2-0 on the first batter here in the last of the sixth. Jiggles that ball in his gloved hand, grabs it, pitches it. It's too high. That's ball 3. Passeau is waving that right arm of his around a little bit, like a windmill, trying to limber it up. He hasn't walked anybody so far in this ball game. Here's the pitch. It's good. A fast one in there. Swift just stood and took it. 3 balls, 1 strike now on the first batter in the last of the sixth. Passeau still kicking up a lot of dirt there. He's nervous on the mound. Says he doesn't like baseball except when he's out there pitching. Then he likes it. Now, after taking plenty of time, he's ready. This is a 3-1 pitch to Bob Swift. Swift backed out of the batter's box for a minute, figuring that Passeau was sort of standing him up there. Now Swift is back in. Passeau's ready to go. Here it comes. It's too high. Swift is walked. We may have a pinch hitter for Stubby Overmeyer, who's scheduled to come up next. Here comes manager Steve O'Neill down to talk to Art Passarella. We'll see what's going to happen. No, I believe we're going to have a pinch runner for Bob Swift. Looks like Ed Borum going out there. So Swift, getting the first walk of the ball game off Claude Passeau, is coming out now, and Ed Borum, played with some ball with Buffalo this year, is put on to run for it. That's B-O-R-O-M. Guy Borum hails from Spartansburg, South Carolina. So he's on as a pinch runner. As I mentioned, that's the first walk off Passeau. He went 5 games in the season in which he didn't walk anybody. Now we've got a pinch hitter coming up here. Let's pick that. It's Hub Walker coming up. 40-year-old veteran coming up to bat left-handed. First pitch to him is a called strike. That's Harvey Walker. He's the older brother of G. Gerald Walker. Hub here served in the Army for almost 2 years. Left-handed batter. He made that crucial hit out in St. Louis, the last Sunday of the season. That started things off for the Tiger victory that clinched the pennant for them. And so now this man of much experience and long service in the Army is brought up here as a pinch hitter. Passeau delivers to him again, and that is called strike 2. Paso is moving around out on the mound there now. Boehm running for Swift, who has walked. Doesn't take much of a lead off first. A pinch hitter up for Overmeyer, so we'll have a new Detroit pitcher. Here it comes. It's swung on. There's a ground ball going down to second. Don Johnson has it. He touches Boehm out, throws to first, and it's a double play. Boehm says he wasn't touched. And now there's a bit of a run delay on. That was a very neat bit of fielding by Don Johnson, the second baseman of the Cubs. That ball was hit right down to him. Boehm was turned down towards second. And Johnson took the ball, touched Boehm, who tried to twist out of the way, of course, then threw to first in time to get Hub Walker. He got him. It's a double play. Double play is scored. If you're scoring, 4-3. 4 is the second baseman, 3 is the first baseman. That makes it 2 out. Detroit now in the last of the sixth, and here's Jimmy Webb up. Starting the third, batting around for Detroit. Webb hits right-handed. He's a Mississippian, too, same as Paso is. So a couple of sons of Mississippi are going at it. Paso pitches a call strike to him. Paso, I told you, went to Millsaps College. Well, Jimmy Webb here went to the University of Mississippi. Webb hasn't hit in this game. This is his third time up. That's right-handed. Takes a pitch that's a little too high for ball 1. 1-1 on Webb with 2 out and nobody on, the last of the sixth. Very snappy Chicago double play. Of the unusual variety, just erased. Eddie Boehm and Hub Walker. Now Paso is ready to go. Webb swings on it. There's a blooper going out into short right field. In comes Nicholson. He's under it now. He waits and takes it for the out. So Webb flies out to right field. And in the last of the sixth inning, there are no runs for Detroit, no hits, no base runners left on, and there were no Chicago errors. So that wraps up 6 full innings of play in this ball game, and Chicago leads by a score of 2-0.